Top stories tonight in Y News. The Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, commits to push for the ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, free trade agreement as President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. reiterated its importance on the Philippine economy. Office of the Civil Defense confirms they will not send second batch of rescuers to Turkey after Turkish government announces no need for another batch of rescuers. The Armed Forces of the Philippines calls on the Chinese government to control its forces after a Chinese Coast Guard reportedly pointed a military-grade laser light at a Philippine Coast Guard ship. And the death of Russian soldiers per day continues to increase as the nation launches their big offensive on Ukraine. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, the 13th of February, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am William Theo. First in the news, the Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, committed to push for the ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, free trade agreement. This after President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. reiterated its importance on Philippine economy. Nel Maribohok will tell us why.
The Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, reported that Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, held a meeting today, February 13. The meeting, which was presided over by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, pointing to discussions regarding the priority bills of the government. According to Malacanang, LEDAC has committed to push for the ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP. In the meeting, Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri, who joined President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in his 5-day working visit to Tokyo, as well as Senator Loren Legarda, expressed commitment to jointly defend the ratification of RCEP on the Senate floor. President Marcos Jr. on Sunday said RCEP would be good for the country because of the increased trade that it will bring to different member economies.
I don't see the logic in that. Actually, it will be the contrary because if we, right now, kung wala tayo sa RCEP, hindi natin ma-access ang kanilang mga market. Lalo na yung mga supply chain na available na binibigay ngayon sa ASEAN.
RCEP is a free trade agreement between the 10 member states of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, and its 5 FTA partners, Australia, China, Japan, New Zealand, and the Republic of Korea. The Philippines is the only one left behind in ratifying it among its Southeast Asian neighbors.
If you think about it, we are the only ones left na hindi pa nakapag-ano ng RCEP. So we're leaving ourselves out. We're isolating ourselves from the free trade zone that ASEAN is. So sayang naman opportunities.
The LEDAC serves as a consultative and advisory body to the President, the chair of the National Economic and Development Authority, on certain programs and policies of the government. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Office of the Civil Defense confirms that they will not send a second batch of rescuers to Turkey, and they are yet to decide if they will extend the stay of the Philippine contingent in the quake-hit country. Leah Ilagan will tell us why.
Office of the Civil Defense spokesperson Assistant Secretary Rafi Alejandro announced that the Turkish government is not requesting for another batch of rescuer. That's the reason why they will stop sending another batch of Philippine contingent.
We will not be sending another contingent because we got word from the SND kahapon that the Turkish government no longer accepts additional teams to be deployed doon sa kanila.
Meanwhile, the Philippine contingent ensures that they are in good condition in Adiyaman despite the extreme weather condition.
We are high morale despite of the cold weather here. And for today, we're moving to one area which is highly devastated, that is in nearby police stations. So nothing to worry with us.
The medical team are also saying that they are also treating patients suffering from common conditions like colds and diarrhea.
Ang situation po kasi dito, just like any, as we have anticipated in a disaster situation, marami pong mga health facilities na either not functioning or partially functioning. No? So, kaya po ang unang request po ng Turkey government is actually EMT type 2 and type 3. No? And they were well trained for this. No? So, kaya po very grateful po ang people of Turkey, especially here in Adiyaman, no? Because we are providing the services to them, no? Whether they are victims of having injuries due to the earthquake or they are suffering from the common conditions na at this time wala po silang pupuntahan ng mga ospital or mga klinika, at tayo po nagpo-provide ng medical services for them. No? Kaya nga po so far we're able to treat 55 patients for the past 2 days.
The Philippine contingent is set to go home after 14 days, but the OCD is still deciding if they will extend their stay in Turkey. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Department of Justice, or DOJ, has offered a $6 million reward for those who can give the whereabouts of the 6 suspects behind missing sabungeros. Dante Amento has the story.
The Department of Justice, or DOJ, Secretary Crispin Rimulya, in a statement, said they are exerting all efforts to attain justice for the missing sabungeros and to solve such crimes. Rimulya added the manhunt for the 6 individuals allegedly involved in the crime continues. The DOJ has offered 6 million pesos reward for those who can give the whereabouts of the suspects.
We are concentrating on arresting these people because we believe na sila po yung lahat ng mga kaso up to case number 8 ay isa lang ang magkagawan. And we believe that these people are the one who orchestrated all this case. And so, pag nahuli ito, lahat ng kaso, lahat ng case na inimbestigan namin ay masosolve.
Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, or PNP-CIDG, disclosed they have an idea of the mastermind of the crime, but they cannot divulge the identity while gathering strong evidence.
As of now, hindi ko masabi kung sino yung tinutumbok namin na mastermind.
The PNP-CIDG also believes there's only one group behind the missing sabungeros. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
10 priority measures have been identified by the Senate and the House during their Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, meeting this morning. Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva says included in the list are the amendments to the Build, Operate, Transfer, or BOT law, the proposed Medical Reserve Corps, the mandatory ROTC, and the controversial Maharlika Investment Fund. However, he clarified that the proposed charter change, or CHA-CHA, was not mentioned during the meeting.
Wasn't even tackled in our LEDAC meeting, so I don't see any reason why we will be focusing into it. But of course, the committee hearings will continue.
Other measures included in the 10 priority measures are the proposed Philippine Center for Disease Prevention and Control, condonation of unpaid amortization and interest of loans of agrarian reform beneficiaries, Internet Transactions Act, amendments to the AFP fixed term, and the Salt Industry Development Bill. While some senators expressed alarm on the number of reported cases of bullying in the country, One lawmaker fears more cases are not even reported. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Senate Committee on Basic Education Chairperson Senator Sherwin Gatchalian has expressed concern over the huge number of reported bullying cases over the past years. The panel held a hearing today to review the implementation of the Anti-Bullying Act of 2013 as reported cases continue to rise. Gatchalian cited a World Health Organization study which showed that 4 out of 10 Filipino students experience some form of bullying, while another study conducted by the Program for International Student Assessment or PISA in 2018 showed that the Philippines ranked first out of 70 countries in bullying prevalence.
If a student experiences frequent bullying, the scores go down, especially with fundamental and foundational subjects such as math and science. So there's a direct correlation between being bullied and not being bullied.
Based on the data provided by the Department of Education or DepEd, the most number of reported cases of bullying was recorded in school year 2018 to 2019 with over 21,000. Majority of bullying cases reported in the past 7 years were physical in nature. However, it went down to 11,000 during the 2019 to 2020 school year, to which the DepEd attributed to the shift from face-to-face classes to online classes brought about by the pandemic. Gatchalian believes that this might be higher due to unreported cases. The Child Protection Network Foundation says many victims fear for their safety.
They are afraid. They know that if they report, they will not be safe from the bullies. Some of them feel they can handle it on their own, so they do not need to report. And for those who reported, many also felt that they were not helped, that the reports were not taken seriously.
Is it safe to conclude that 17.5 million students experience some form of bullying in our country?
Yes.
The Education Department admits difficulty in monitoring the cases and the lack of guidance counselors in schools.
We established the Learner Telesafe Contact Center helpline. So this already allows the learner to directly report. So this allows us to have a direct hand in contrast of it being coursed through the teachers or through the school.
Meanwhile, experts point out that people should help not only the bullied but also the bully.
Intervention with the bully needs intervention of what is happening at home. He himself suffering from physical violence or emotional violence or even sexual violence at home. So this behavior of the bully is actually just a reflection of what is happening in the home most of the time.
When they discipline, it always involves violence. Violence that is verbal. Bakit yung ginawa yan? Ang tanga-tanga mo. That's very common, no? So it's a cultural thing also that we have to look at it. So I think we have to focus on the family.
The DepEd recommends enhancing the agency's fight against cyberbullying by additional funding. The agency is also open to the possibility of adding social media and internet use in the education curriculum. It also expressed support to adding more mental health professionals in schools. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Representatives from the Makabayan bloc filed a petition before the Supreme Court or SC this morning, February 13. They questioned the passage in the third reading of the Maharlika bill in the House of Representatives. They urged the High Court to declare such acts as unconstitutional and the presidential certification of the bill as urgent. The bill is allegedly not beneficial to the Filipino citizen.
Nakita natin yung pagtutol ng mga mamamayan dito sa Maharlika Investment Fund, pero itinuloy pa rin. Sinertify as urgent itong Maharlika Bill na tingin natin ay walang pakinabang dito ang mga mamamayan.
And foreign news abroad. Turkish authorities have arrested contractors connected to the collapse of buildings during last week's massive earthquakes that struck Turkey and Syria. Kath Dumaraas will give us the details live. Good evening, Kath.
Good evening, Elsie. At least 12 people, including contractors, architects, and engineers, are in custody over the destruction and damage of thousands of buildings in Turkey, as officials warn that the current combined death toll of 33,000 could double. Turkey's Vice President Fuat Oktay said 131 people have been identified as suspects. Out of those, 113 were issued with detention orders. Experts warn that new buildings in Turkey were unsafe due to endemic corruption and government policies that allowed contractors to swerve building regulations. The arrests are seen to be an attempt to divert blame for the disaster by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who will face tough elections in May. Rescue workers continue their efforts to find survivors despite sub-zero winter weather, but some operations have been suspended for security reasons and due to looting and clashes reported in southern Turkey, where Kurdish militants and Syrian rebels are operating. Back to you, Elsie.
Kath, can you give us an update on the relief aid for Turkey and Syria? While the impact of Cyclone Gabriel was expected to hit Sunday evening and Monday, the 12th and 13th of February, weather experts have warned that New Zealanders could still be experiencing poor conditions until Tuesday. Forecaster Met Service said it was expecting a widespread significant weather event with heavy rain, strong winds, and large waves. Air New Zealand has cancelled all flights to, from, or through Auckland, Hamilton, Tauranga, and Taupo airports from midday today until midday Tuesday. Cyclone Gabriel has been causing havoc across the top of the North Island overnight, with thousands of homes losing power, schools closing, and trains and ferries cancelled in the Auckland region. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, William.
Yes, thank you, Elsie. And for those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. The House of Representatives officially turned over $100,000 or over 5 million pesos of financial assistance for the earthquake victims in Turkey. The Turkey ambassador to the Philippines, Niazi Evren Akyol, received the financial assistance and expressed his gratitude to the Philippine government and the Filipino people for the assistance. He also pointed out that within 48 hours of disaster, there was already a Philippine search and rescue and medical team braving extreme cold conditions to help with the operations.
The very fact that you thought about this is enough for us, and your generosity is most heartwarming and touching in this hour of need. The fact that you thought about this, that you made an organization to make this happen, is much, much appreciated. Thank you very much. Our thoughts and prayers.
Meanwhile, the House panel will continue conducting public dialogue regarding the proposed economic charter change amid President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s comment that charter change is not a priority. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
Lawmakers in the House of Representatives reiterated the importance of amending the economic provisions of the 1987 Constitution. In a statement, Cagayan de Oro City 2nd District Representative Rufus Rodriguez said he respects the opinion of the President. However, as an independent branch, the House of Representatives and Congress will continue conducting public dialogues on the issue. Representative Rodriguez also admired the President's efforts to encourage foreign investors, but the economic restrictions can possibly impede these potential investments from pushing through. The House Committee on Constitutional Amendments has begun public discussions in several areas, including Cagayan de Oro City and Iloilo. More will be conducted in Pampanga, Bulacan, and other parts of the country. During the public consultation in Iloilo, Leyte 4th District Representative Richard Gomez calls for openness for change in the Constitution.
If we want to ensure a place for the Philippines in the global arena, then we must be willing to make the relevant changes in our existing Constitution.
Meanwhile, the Senate will also continue its discussions on economic charter change. According to Senator Robin Hood Padilla, most pledges of investors that the president is receiving during his foreign trips are not coming to fruition due to the country's strict economic policy. Senator Padilla reiterated that ordinary workers will not be able to feel improvements in the country and in their lives without amending the Constitution. The senator also said it will continue conducting public hearings on charter change. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The armed forces of the Philippines called on the Chinese government to control its forces after a Chinese Coast Guard reportedly pointed a military-grade laser light at a Philippine Coast Guard ship. Janice Inhente will tell us why.
Offensive and unsafe. These are what the armed forces of the Philippines described to the recent report that the Chinese Coast Guard pointed a military-grade laser light at a Philippine Coast Guard or PCG vessel in Ayungin Shoal. Based on the PCG report, the incident happened on February 6, where a Chinese Coast Guard vessel targeted the PCG vessel BRP Malapascua with a green laser light while the ship was on a rotation and resupply mission in the area. The Chinese vessel illuminated the military-grade laser light twice toward the PCG vessel, causing temporary blindness to the crew at the bridge. In response to the incident, the BRP Malapascua altered her course and headed towards Lawak Island to continue maritime patrol. Following the reported incident, the AFP called on the Chinese government to restrain its forces in the West Philippine Sea or WPS.
The Secretary of National Defense has already declared or said that the act committed by the Coast Guard of China is offensive and unsafe. I think it is time for the Chinese government to restrain its forces so that it does not commit any provocative act that will endanger the lives of people.
Meanwhile, regardless of the challenges, according to PCG Commandant CG Admiral Artemio Abu, the PCG remains steadfast in protecting the sovereignty and rights of the country and Filipinos in the WPS. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Transportation is confident to achieve full operation of first ever subway in the country by 2028. JP Nunez will tell us why.
The Department of Transportation or DOTR admits that the right-of-way for the areas where Metro Manila subway construction will pass through remains a challenge. But the department is still confident to achieve full operation of the first-ever subway transit by 2028, while partial operation eyed on year 2027.
Posibleng magkaroon ng partial operations. Yung mga siguro, yung mga mauunang mga stations, Valenzuela up to most probably Ortigas. But pipilitin nating matapos to by 2028.
Earlier today, February 13, groundbreaking ceremony was held for the construction of Anonas and Camp Aguinaldo subway stations. The two subway stations were awarded to Sumitomo Mitsui Construction Company as contractor of the project, while funding will come from the loan from Japan International Cooperation Agency or JICA. Construction period of the two subway stations will be for 67 months or more than 5 years. Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista said that one station inside Camp Aguinaldo has been launched. It will not compromise the military operation as it will not be part of the camp.
Magiging outside Camp Aguinaldo to. Meron dito dati parang mga facilities, warehouse, no? Mga facilities ng Camp Aguinaldo na nalipat na.
Meanwhile, Undersecretary for Railways Cesar Chavez said 120 pesos of fare is projected according to a study. This covers a one-way trip from end-to-end stations of the subway, which will run from Valenzuela up to Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA in Pasay City.
Sa isang study, tinanong sa isang ridership study, tinanong ang publiko, pwede ba siyang magbayad ng hanggang 120 end-to-end? Ang sabi doon sa study, yes, pwede sila.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The drilling of the tunnel as part of the Kaliwa Dam project has already started. This would augment water supply for Metro Manila and nearby provinces. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The starting point of the Kaliwa Dam tunnel is in Teresa Rizal. According to the project manager of the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System, or MWSS, they already bore about 10 meters of the 22-kilometer stretch to Infanta, Quezon. It is about 30 meters to 600 meters below the ground that will pass the mountainous areas of the municipalities of Baras, Morong, Tanay, and Santa Maria in Laguna. The dam will be built in Infanta, Quezon. The water will flow in the tunnel to deliver around 600 million liters per day and would supply to 3 million families in Metro Manila and nearby provinces.
Ito po yung ating pong water supply situation po ngayon. Sapat po yung ating water supply. Ngunit dahil nga po patuloy yung paglago ng ating populasyon at unlad ng Metro Manila at yung mga karatig probinsya, malaki po yung magiging demand in the future. Kaya po kakailanganin po talaga natin ng additional water source bukod sa Angat Dam.
MWSS said that they have complied with all the necessary documents and process before they have started the project. It includes the assistance to the 46 families near the dam site and assistance to the local government.
Mahabang proseso po ito. Inabot po tayo ng 7 years doon po sa pakikipag-usap at pakikipagtalakayan po dito sa mga maapektuhan ng proyekto, lalong-lalo na po yung ating mga katutubo.
The project is estimated to complete in 2026 and may operate in 2027. The budget is amounting to 12 billion pesos under the official development assistance loan from China. MWSS noted that the structure can withstand the magnitude that can be generated by the West Valley Fault or the so-called the Big One. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The National Health Service officials in the United Kingdom urged to discuss the current pay agreements with unions to avoid the alarming escalation of nurses' strikes. Ruth Bahe will tell us why live. Yes, Ruth?
Yes, Elsie, the Royal College of Nursing, or RCN, which is the largest nursing union in the United Kingdom, is gearing up to intensify its pay dispute with the government by calling the members in the emergency room, intensive care units, and cancer care services to take part in the upcoming rounds of strikes. Leaders and providers of the National Health Service, or NHS, urged Health Secretary Steve Barclay
Thank you, Ruth Bahe, reporting live from Vietnam. The death of Russian soldiers per day continues to increase as the nation launches their big offensive on Ukraine. Paul Gatchalian will tell us why. those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand.
Actor and TV host Luis Manzano's camp has requested a 15-day extension to respond to the subpoena of the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, over accusations on the Flex Fuel investment scam. Earlier today, February 13, Manzano's legal counsel, Attorney Regidor Caringal, sent a letter to the Quezon City National Investigative Office requesting an extension of 15 days to respond to the said complaint. The complainants are disappointed, but they said they already expected the response of the actors' camp. They are ready to settle and withdraw the matter if Manzano and Flex Fuel would pay back their investment. Over 50 individuals have filed complaints before the NBI and wish to recover their investment in the said company. The first series of the Wish Date concert for the year 2023 has already started. Aside from the live performances of the Wishers' favorite music artists, highlight of the said event was the poetry all about love. Gladys Tawabi will tell us why.
A night of music and poetry all about love. This is how the 6th Wish Date concert went yesterday, February 12 at the theater at Soler. Aside from being the first Wish Date concert of the year, this is also the first time where a poetry was showcased instead of a short film, which highlighted the stages and emotions felt whenever one is in love.
Enduring love is sacrifice, and love could be anything. But love, in truth, is everything.
Wishers jam along with the live performances of their favorite music artists with their heartfelt songs. Among these is the rendition of Juris. The original hit of Asia Soul Sirenina, Someday.
Someday, someone's gonna love me the way I wanted you to need me. Someday, someone's gonna take your place.
And the up-and-coming singer, Rangel.
Okay, sarap sa ilalim ng kalawakan kapag kapiling ka.
This was also the first time where foreign artists were invited to perform in Wish Date concert. The international acoustic pop rock band Stephen Speaks.
All that I am, and my voice shakes along with my hands, 'cause it's frightening to be swimming in this strange sea, but I'd rather be here than on land.
Indeed, it was a one-of-a-kind experience, not only for the Wishers, but also for the music artists.
Thank you so much, Wish, for having us out here. People like me wouldn't have an avenue to get our music out to the world without people like you. And I can't thank you enough for supporting me and for allowing me to be involved in what you're doing. And I hope we can work together again in the future. And you're such a blessing to all the musicians out there.
Nakakatuwa, di pa nga ako nagsisimulang kumanta, nararamdaman ko na yung energy ng mga tao and nakakamiss din kasi matagal din naman na I performed rin na alam mo since pandemic. So ngayon nakakabalik-balik. So nakakatuwa. I love the audience a lot. Sobrang fun nila. Maraming salamat po. Kayo po ang bumubuhay ng OPM. Thank you so much. Sana hindi po kayo magsawa.
Yeah, sobrang I didn't expect it. Like, kasi diba first time ko, first ever ko talaga sa Wish Date. Hindi ko alam na ganito kasaya kantahan yung audience. Please continue supporting OPM artists like me and, spreading the music of the Filipino people.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys keep it up kasi hindi lang ako, marami talagang OPM artists ang super talented.
Stay tuned for the next series of Wish Date concert happening this year by KDR Music House. Gladys Tuwabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our Kasangbahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time through the social media accounts of Members Church of God International. And before we close, we will leave you with the word giving glory to God from the book of 1 John chapter 5 verse 2. It says, "By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep His commandments." And those are the reasons behind the news, February 13, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.